The house we're sitting in right now, I got from Pinpoint Profits from the data feed. I've got two houses on the other side of the town that we got those from vacant feeds within Pinpoint Profits. And we have two more in subdivisions that actually was from Pinpoint Profits in the data feed. So it's kind of a no-brainer that it brings you deals.
All right, hello everyone. This is Ross Hamilton and welcome to the call. This is a Q&A and also an advanced training for those of you who want to really scale up your business using data. This is not the call where we're going to teach you how to wholesale. If you're on this call, I assume you either already know how to wholesale, or if you're a newer member who stumbled across this, then just know that all of that training is inside the members area, which I'm going to show you. But this is us. This is when we really get to the nuts and the bolts of all of this data and why it's such a huge competitive advantage. On the line here, we have a few really great individuals. We have Jerry Stevens. Jerry, are you there?
I am here.
Awesome. Thank you so very much for taking time out of your busy house flipping schedule. And we also have Marty Coyne. He's the CTO of Connected Investors. Marty, can you hear us?
Sure can, Ross.
I brought Marty on here because when we get really deep in the data, like beyond the surface level, and we're talking about the molecules that kind of make up some of the data that you see here, Marty's one of the best experts in the world on all this, speaks at a lot of big conferences, and we're really lucky to have him on the team. So just a brief recap on what you can do with PIN and everything you have access to. You can see nearly every lead type. We're going to go over all the different lead types you have, from vacants to pre-foreclosures to zombie properties, which we just found out some investors call hotcakes because they're that good, to all these other deal types. We're going to go ahead and get there in a second here. Also, how to set up unique notifications so you're always in the know. Anytime there's a new good deal on your street, block, county, city, whatever area you're working on, you're going to have access to those instantly. And you're also going to be able to see flipper data. We actually did a little spying on Jerry before this call because there's a lot of people that say they're real estate investors, but they're not. Jerry, in your business, has anyone ever told you they're a real estate investor and you find out they're just wasting your time?
Oh, absolutely. At least once, once or twice a month.
Yeah, exactly. So now you'll be able to kind of double check people. And also you're going to be able to instantly connect with the different pros in your area. So if you're looking for leads, if you're looking for buyers, if you're looking for the contact info of owners, if you want to set up notifications, this is going to be a really good call. And at the end of the day, this is really a new lens to look through. What this means is you've never been able to really look at data this way before, right? You've had to pull bits and pieces of data from all of these different sources, put it together, and try to make some sense out of the data. Jerry, before you and I started to really get to know each other, man, I'd watch you in your office, kind of with your hands in your hair, looking at all these spreadsheets, and you were trying to connect all the dots to make that matrix. Is kind of what I saw.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. When you were just saying that, I was kind of giggling. I remember the day when we would spend hours and hours and hours just to get a vacant, just to get, the pre-foreclosures, all the data, then it would take hours and hours and hours just to kind of get them in one central location so that then we could start massaging and figure out who we want to go after and all these items. And, you guys have put it in one spot. So it's definitely a game changer.
Yeah. And Marty, it wasn't easy to get it all in one spot, was it?
I'll tell you what, Ross, I guess it's been about a year now since we really started going after this full time, really with all guns pointed the same direction. And yeah, this is not for the faint of heart. I can assure you.
Today in our staff meeting, Marty said he had a phone call from a company who said, "Hey, we tried to do this and failed a while back." And we're really excited to see that someone actually got this all together. And there have been roadblocks both internally and externally. There's a lot of big data companies that don't want you to have this information. The MLS is one of them, and a lot of other individuals as well, because there's so much value in this data that it's just people want to keep it for themselves. the reason we brought Jerry on, and actually have another investor on the line here who I'm going to patch in toward the end, Leonard, because they got early access to this and have been able to absolutely dominate their local market. So I'm really excited for you guys to see what Jerry's been able to do in a short period of time after using this data. And what's great is, Jerry got on the data train kind of early. Like he was saying just a few slides ago, whenever data first came out, he was one of the pioneers, definitely in our town, and maybe even across the country. So it's been nice to see the before and after in his business, and I'm excited for you guys to get into it as well. Again, I'm not trying to waste any time here because we're going to really be digging into this and giving you secrets on how to use this data to do deals now. But remember, guys, the reason we're here is because we need to move billions and billions of dollars. This is our way to accelerate our funding portal. So as you're using this platform, as you're finding deals, if you need funding, we're here for you. You can come right through our portal. We'll match you up with a private non-bank lender who wants to be your capital partner. If you're a wholesaler like Leonard is, and you're selling these deals, if your buyers need funding, just go ahead and come to us. We pushed through this huge mountain of data, made the impossible possible for you to help us grow our fund. There's a lot of companies out there that they try to sell you a software, then they try to sell you something else. We don't have anything else. The only other thing that we want to do is we want to give you access to private funding. That's our something else. All right. So use this data, go get deals, come to us when you need funding. And if you're able to get the best rate and terms from our platform, fantastic. And at the end of the day, guys, remember, data is really just a front of the line pass. All right. Because if you don't have data, you're doing this right here. You're out there fishing with everyone else. You're fighting for those deals. But once you have data, it's almost like you have a fish finder. You can go right to where the deals are. It's a huge competitive advantage. We talked about this on the webinar, but it's just so critically important that you fully digest that. And really, whenever we first started looking at this, we noticed that there are 2 million properties at any time that are listed on the MLS. And there are some deals there. I mean, Jerry, you've done some deals that have been listed on the MLS before, correct? Even with
oh, absolutely. I actually found one the other day, which is, they're still there. They're not as poking out or sticking out as they used to be, but they're there if you dig hard enough.
Exactly. So we're going to show you how to dig hard in an easy way here, because I don't want to completely discount that, but that's where everyone is on those 2 million properties that are listed. That's where every rookie goes. That's where every person who goes to one of those roadshow seminars, they get out of those and then they, start making offers on foreclosed properties or REOs. That is for the newbies, but every now and then you can kind of swipe in and get a good deal. But there's over 137 million properties that are not listed. And that's really what our data solves. We sift through those 137 million properties to find, the little beacon of some noise you can follow right to a good deal. And really, at the end of the day, the $1 million question is, what deals should I focus on? There's so many different lead sources out there, but the real answer is you need to go ahead and focus on all of them. So Jerry, I asked you for a few addresses. Before we jumped on here. And one thing that I really didn't touch on the webinar that is revolutionary, that we gave to the individuals who did it for free as a bonus, is access to this landlord and flipper data. You'll see right inside the platform, you can just press this button right here. Everyone see that? And what that does is it sorts all the properties out by just the properties that flippers or landlords have purchased. And we're going to talk about all the different ways to use that. But when Jerry sent me over his list of properties, I just zoomed in. Jerry, let's zoom in here. I think your property you flipped was somewhere over here, right off Piner Road. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, here's Piner Road. And is this you right here?
That's it.
JS?
That is it.
I think. Okay, great. So if you were to talk to Jerry, and Jerry says, I'm a real estate investor, you'd be like, oh yeah, tell me about a few, what are a few of the property addresses you flipped? Well, you can go right in here and look at those properties and see who the person was that flipped them. Let's take a look at this. So Jerry, this is all, first off, this is all public record data right here, right? So we are at the mercy of the counties that record this information. So is every other data source out there, right? So that's where that data lives. One of our Leonard's on the line here, and he flipped a deal so recently that it hasn't yet been updated in the database, but this one was updated. And Jerry, it shows you purchased it back in 2017 for around $145,000. You financed about $90,000 of that, and perhaps with some hard money. But you sold it for $235,500. So there was a $90,000 spread on this property. And the reason it doesn't say Jerry made $90,000 in profit is because there could potentially be some expenses in this property here. If it was a wholesale deal, yes, that could all be his money theoretically, but the spread, the purchase price to sale price, is about $90,000. Jerry, can you give us just some insights on this property?
Yep, absolutely.
What the data source was? Start off with the data source. How did you find this property?
Okay, this property was a probate.
Right.
That we found. We, for lack of better words, we pinpointed right in on them. And we just started, I started mailing, I started calling. Well, my team did. And when we locked it up at 145, or yeah, I think it was like 145, I think. And we literally put $18,000 in this house and turned around and sold it and closed 2 months later. So we probably had about almost $70,000 spread there.
Great.
So it was a great find. It was a great flip. It's for lack of better words, it was a lot. It's easier. It was so easy. It was almost it felt weird. It's probably the best way I could say it, because it was literally point, click, let's make some calls. And literally within, I would say 3 days, we had a contract closed within about 10, and there we go. So, literally it was no going to the courthouse. It was no chasing, bandit signs, putting them in front of this house, which, back in the day, I'd kind of put bandit signs all around these people's houses so they couldn't avoid seeing my bandit signs. But with this, it was sitting in an office, and there we go.
That's huge. So easy. You almost felt like you did something wrong, but you really solved those.
Exactly. That's the best way to say it. I kind of felt weird, but it kind of starts, that weirdness kind of goes away and starts feeling good, and you just kind of want to keep doing it after that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at the same time, there was a family who had recently inherited a property, needed to get rid of it. You were able to come in, get it done fast, put some lipstick on it, and make a nice profit. And it looks like that area there isn't bad. There's a few flips right down the street. This guy's spread was $226,000. He was a builder, so I don't know how much he walked away with, but there was plenty of money on that deal. And here's a deal right here, a $77,000 spread. IRAP Investments, LLC. So you can see they got a little bit of financing there. But, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, the information that you have here on these landlords to be able to see the flips in your area, we don't have, there's no spread that's showing on that property. I'm just kind of looking around here, $151,000 spread on that one. And let's see down here. I mean, it's kind of intoxicating just to see all of the money people are making flipping properties in your local area. And it's also very, I don't know, you see a lot of things on webinars where people, they get on, they say, I made money flipping real estate. And you never really know if what you're watching is true. But what's great about this is data doesn't lie. I mean, you can see exactly who's flipping, how much money they're making in your town. So Marty, this was a probate deal, and the probate data that's inside PIN is very, very cutting edge, and it took a lot to get that type of data to display in here. And while you're talking a little bit about the probate data, I just want to show you guys that all you have to do is just hit your filters button right here, and you can select probate properties. So Marty, is there any insights you can offer the people about the quality of the data inside PIN from a probate perspective?
Yeah, so probate's kind of a unique animal because, I mean, the circumstances around it. I mean, someone has passed away, and so that has a lot of that creates a motivation right there in a number of cases. I've experienced this personally recently with the loss of my brother. My sister-in-law is trying to get out of her house quickly to move back, quote unquote, home. So there's a lot of motivation around this, and there's also some trickiness around it because of it's hard to find contact information in that context too, where someone has passed away and you don't know who to go to in that situation. So we're really essentially finding out if there's someone in the household who has passed away, and then we're looking for the contact information of other adults in the household or next of kin or whatever, so that we can provide that level of that contact information on those people as well. And that's, I think that's part of the uniqueness here, is that most of the ones in our database are not only probate, but they're also vacant, which makes them a double bonus. And then if we can give you some contact information on that when it's vacant, that's really a stretch for somebody to be able to do, and that's what I think we've accomplished.
Yeah, absolutely. And you'll see here, I pulled up this property. It's a probate. Here's the person's cell phone number. Here's their information. There's $139,000 in equity in this property. Jerry, have you called these people yet out in Carolina Beach?
I would have to ask my team,
Exactly.
but I'm sure we have. If you guys don't mind, I want to hit on one thing about that landlord and flipper data.
Yes, please.
I don't know if this was just a side effect of bringing all this awesome information together, but with the landlord and flipper data, for the wholesalers who just purely wholesale out there, I think this is amazing how to increase your buyers list. Find the guys that are flipping all the properties in your area, and like this one right here. Let's see, where's one of them where we've got let's see, those are private people. But yeah, you search those people down. If it says, so-and-so LLC, find that company, find those people there. That's going to be your buyers. I mean, that's a huge, and when I first started out, finding some buyers sometimes for some of my wholesale deals can kind of get a little cumbersome. But with this, I mean, the data is right there. Yeah. To completely do the buy, the sell, and the complete wholesale business.
Yeah, and this is, if you were on our webinar, you just got this data for free on top of everything else we gave, and that is a huge value add. I didn't have time to properly display the value on the webinar. It was a 2-hour webinar, kind of taking you guys through all the information that's here and how revolutionary it is. But Jerry, thanks for pointing that out. I mean, you can verify people if they're real. You can also build your buyers list right there. I mean, another way that a lot of people are using it is they figure out how much to pay for properties. Because if I'm going to flip a property in this particular area, I want to see how much other people are paying for properties. Forget the comps. Comps are one thing, but how much are flippers paying for properties? So there's a lot of great data here, and this is, if you're watching this in the even not so distant future, the UI might look a little bit different because we are constantly updating this information and having market trend analysis, and all of these great things are coming live. That was just one deal source, one type of deal that we talked about. But let me just kind of point something out, right? Jerry talked about getting it under contract. If you scroll down the page here, you can see these are all the probate deals, right? That are all listed in and around Wilmington, North Carolina. And I'm gonna show you how to really narrow in on these. Down here is where you can get your funding. You have the CI Institute, where all of your education is. These are your notifications. We'll talk about that in a second. All your downloads, the member data guide, due diligence checklist, email scripts, phone scripts, text scripts, all of the scripts that you need right there. You can also add notes. You have the different boot camps, announcements, and all your different quick starts. There is everything that you need right below pinned to kind of get up and running. Even the contract genie. We talk about getting properties under contract. We have the contract genie right here. And you can kind of get up and running relatively quick. So that is a huge value add to have all that information there. But I did a search for Wilmington, North Carolina. And by the way, if you click this little icon here of the state, search for search by county, subdivision, and street address. But by clicking this right here, you can see some different search options, right? So in the filters, you have vacant properties. Vacant properties are a fantastic place to start for a million reasons, right? It's always a leading indicator of some sort of a problem when a property is vacant. You have pre-foreclosures. These are people who are late. There's financial motivation. There's only one way to get a good deal, and it's financial motivation. The courthouse deals. These are properties that are coming up for auction shortly. Bank-owned properties, shadow inventory. This is bank-owned and not listed, right? So the seagulls are not on this French fry yet. No one knows this property is available yet, and you can get kind of a jump on that. Zombie properties, otherwise now being referred to internally as hotcakes, right? These are pre-foreclosures that are also vacant. This is a double whammy. Probate properties, we talked about that. And to go above and beyond, we have the for sale by owners, the CI marketplace deal, which are all of the wholesale deals, online auctions, and Craigslist. So Jerry, you've been playing around with data, and I call it playing because prior to PIN, that's what you were doing. There's no other place where you can see all of these lead sources in one dashboard.
Oh, absolutely not.
Absolutely.
No. I mean, the Craigslist, the auctions, I mean, there's a lot of data sources there that before I'll just go ahead and give a quick little 15-second summary. Before this, I wasn't joking. We literally had spreadsheets upon spreadsheets that we, by hand, we went to the courthouses. We did, a lot of manual work that you guys have put all in one place. And for the couple data sources that we did get, we paid a lot of money. It was not all in one area. I mean, you guys have canned this, and I'm, just perfectly in one spot right here.
Thanks for that, man. We've been working really hard. We're going to talk about contact info in a second because Jerry has spent, a small fortune on contact info. But here we go. So if we're going to start with probate properties, we start with probate properties. Then we hit the sort by. If you just want the great deals, grade A properties, right? Grade B, so 40, 50% equity. Equity high to low, so you can say, you know what? We talked earlier about listed and unlisted properties. Sometimes it's a good strategy. You might say, you know what? I just want to know of all the properties that are listed. You know why? Because those are easy to rapid fire and make offers for. It's a slightly different model. You're going to be fighting, but at least you know right where to go, right? I'm actually going to do this search real quick. Then repair level. For repair level, you can choose if you just want the deals that have minor repairs. We have age leads, past motivation. Let me just talk about this for a second. Past motivation is someone who was in foreclosure but is no longer in foreclosure. Just because someone pulled their house out of foreclosure doesn't mean they're done with their financial problems. So there's a huge value add there. Let's go and see the probate properties that are fantastic with that are listed as well. Do a quick sort. Everything is updating here. Here you go. You got 3 of them in Wilmington, North Carolina. This one right here. Look at this one. Last sale, Jerry, $40,000. ARV is $228. I think that's a good property just to make a low ball offer on, because again, these properties are actively listed. So bam. And because we have the sort by just equity, it's going to really narrow it down. I mean, these are the needle in the haystack deals. That's why there's only 3 of them in Wilmington, North Carolina. So let's go ahead and see the ones that are off market. See what happens here. It's exciting. All right. So there's a lot more that are off market. Wow, a whole lot more. So you can basically just take all these leads and you can export them right here. Just hit the export button. You can scroll down and you can start looking at all the information here. I mean, we got contact info. Pick up the phone, give them a call, shoot an email, send them out a postcard. Right? You can prioritize all these deals. So that just makes it very, very easy. Jerry, why don't you tell me a little bit about how much you used to pay for contact info?
Let's just go a little bit conservative. On an average month, we would probably spend, depending on a lot of variables, anywhere between $3,500 and $7,500 a month.
There you go. That adds up quick. That adds up real quick. So now listen, there's a lot of contact info here. Let's go ahead and find a property that doesn't have contact info, because I want to go ahead and take you through that. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard. All right, let's see. All right, this is an LLC. So I'm glad this came up. LLCs and banks, the contact info is a little bit different. Let's find the contact info for someone who owns the property personally. Here you go, Violet. Let's skip trace. Again, this costs you nothing, so no data present. So what you can do right here, if there's no data present on the surface, you can request the contact info, and we'll add it to Monday morning's search queue. So we go a little bit deeper, right, to get this contact info. And reason being, guys, this contact info is ridiculously expensive. You heard how much Jerry was paying for Wilmington, North Carolina. Could you imagine how expensive the contact information is for the entire United States? Yeah, you're talking millions and millions of dollars. So that's why we have this little queue right here, and you can go and add your properties to the queue one at a time, and we'll go ahead and look for those for you. Now, what we've done, we just did this for Jerry on a property, is if we do this search and no contact info comes back, because Marty, you can probably attest to this. I mean, even the government can't find 100% of people, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's and especially in these situations, this isn't trying to find people in your neighborhood. This is trying to find people that in many cases don't want to be found. I mean, some of them are difficult because they have things like a death in the family, like the probate, but there's also people who are running from creditors, and that's why they're in pre-foreclosure. There are people who have moved and the people even the USPS has lost track of them. So this is a particularly tough group of people to get contact information on, but we've found a few data sources that we go to, and we try to get as much as we can, and really make our best effort to get those on all of the top deals that we can find in here.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we did, though, to take it a step further, is because we didn't want you to have any dead ends. This is a full solution, soup to nuts here. So you can actually request an investigation, and it's $49.99 only if we find the person. So you're going to hit the investigate button. You're going to take out your credit card. You're going to put the money in, and we're going to do a full investigation. We work with private investigators who will go through sources that are far and beyond anything else that's out there to bring you that individual's contact info. A fantastic value to have it all in one spot there. Jerry, we found that we brought you all the contact info for that one lady here in Wilmington, North Carolina just yesterday, and you got about 4 or 5 different phone numbers and a few different addresses and all the information for that individual. And if you track that person down, there's a small fortune to be made.
That's interesting. You said that we actually one of those numbers did work, and we have already started the contract negotiations.
Oh my gosh!
Great information.
Information is power. Information is power. Huge value there. We don't want there to be any dead ends here. We don't want you to have to go to 50 different places. You can come right in here and just say, hey, I want to know about the zombie properties. Let's do another search. Show me the deals. Here you go. Last sale, $49,000. The ARV is $161,000. So let's go and click on this one. Let's do a quick skip trace. Again, this is free. Request contact info. We'll add it to the queue, and we'll take it from there. Now, Marty, on this particular one, this is not a bank-owned property, but it's showing as the Federal National Mortgage Association. What I'm going to do here in just a little while is I'm going to pick your brain on some pre-foreclosures and some bank-owned information. This way, everyone can have a clear, concise understanding on why the data says what it says, and you can really kind of understand what that means for you in your local market. So, Marty, definitely get ready for us to go over that. So. Yeah, I just want to make sure we jump into some of the most exciting things first here. So again, we showed you how to go after all of the different deals. Now we're going to talk a little bit about notifications, because this is really cool. Remember on the webinar where I said, hey, forget Siri, forget Alexa. Imagine if there was Ross. You can say, hey, Ross, let me know if the owners at 27 Main Street ever show signs of needing to sell fast. You pop that property address in. A few months later, you get a little notification directly from PIN that shows you some of the information about the property, telling you, hey, you might want to go ahead and take a look at this. Gives you a link right back into it, the phone number, all the information on the property. This is really powerful. And Jerry, I know I showed this to you, and this is one of the things that you were most excited about. Can you tell me a few ways that an advanced investor like yourself might use this?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I know that we all drive around and see a property that, we know that it's just a matter of time. And to be able to put this in our system, because once you start adding all these properties up, you're going to start getting, there's some that's going to fall through the cracks, and you're going to start forgetting. And I used to come up with 1,000 different ways of trying to bookmark these or what have you. But for this to remind me and tell me, hey, this property's now, where, they're in a situation or could be in a situation where they might be interested in selling, that is amazing. Just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it makes it really easy for you guys. And all you have to do is just search the property address right there, and you can go ahead and save that as a notification. And you'll see down here is where I kind of manage my different notifications. You can drag and drop this stuff too, by the way. So you can kind of customize your dashboard. You can set up these notifications just by hitting a save button on these searches, and then you're up and running. So whether it's an address or it's an advanced search, if you want to say, hey, I want to know when there's a vacant property that has a lot of equity in it, is off market, there's an forget out of town owner, let's do out of state owner that has owned it for over 20 years. And let's go ahead and sort those results. You can see all this information right here, and you can easily just save that right to your notifications board, and then bam, you're in the know. The second there's a new deal, the second that there's anything happens to that property you need to know, you get notified about that. And it's a huge competitive advantage to where maybe you don't even have to really log into PIN. You get everything kind of set up once, and then you're off to the races. Now,
and information, I just want to jump in right here, Ross, real quick. Information like this fast, this quick, is what's going to put, a wholesaler days, if not weeks, in front of the seller. On time, they're gonna be in front of that seller a lot quicker than people who are not, that don't have access to this data. So a lot of these guys, as getting in front of the seller and getting that locked up, that's huge before you have 15 people standing there trying to get their offers in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So let's just touch on the pre-foreclosure data, Marty. Pre-foreclosure data is a bit different all across the United States. So again, one of the reasons we have our CTO, our data guy, on the line here. Marty, what are you seeing when it comes to pre-foreclosure data and how people are using it?
There's motivated sellers, and they are trying to get out of a personally very painful situation. This is a way you can jump in and help somebody, and at the same time, find an opportunity for yourself. So the way it works around the country is everybody, all these counties do this differently. And so the data comes from the county recorders and assessors, and there's different offices throughout the county government that do this in the different locales. And so we go out on a regular basis and find that information. Every time there's a new document, every time someone files for lis pendens or a notice of default, there's a record of that. And so we go and we capture that on a real-time basis and pull that into the data. And we keep this data updated on a daily basis. Now, I can update all the data I can every day, but I'm still at the mercy of that county. So there's a county in Ohio that doesn't do things quite as quickly as maybe a county in North Carolina. But as soon as that data is recorded, we pull it in and we get it updated on a daily basis.
There you go. So there's a lot of different places we get data, but some of the data we get to cross-reference is we're at the mercy of the county. So in the spirit of full transparency, nothing is going to be better and more up to date than going down to your local courthouse. That's where the files live. And when you go down there and you see Betty behind the counter and she's got a stack of files about as tall as she is, those are the ones that they're updating when they get to it, before or after lunch, it's the holidays now, whatever it might be, right? So we are at the mercy of the county there when it comes to pre-foreclosures. A lot of this stuff is updated, bam, 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 real quick. You know, the online auctions, the Craigslist, the CI marketplace, for sale by owner, probates. You know, zombie properties are fast and slow because it's pre-foreclosure and vacant. Shadow inventory, quick. Bank owned, quick. You know, then some of these other things, they get updated the very second that there's new data. We're updating the data. So that's a fantastic segue into the vacant data. Marty, why don't you go ahead and share some of the what you've seen with the vacant data and how some investors are doing what they call milk runs. I think, Jerry, you're really going to like this. Anyone who's an experienced investor, hang on for this. It's exciting.
Yeah, it's really a lot of fun because I've gotten to talk to a lot of our members, and it's and they have these routines that they have done. And if you're old enough to remember a milk run, you know, they just go around. They plot a course for their day, and they run from house to house to house. So they'll go into Pinpoint Profits. They'll find a number of properties within a zip code or in their area that they're interested in doing. They'll put together a milk run, and then they'll go out and drive. And one of the tricks that one of my guys does that I love, John down in Florida, is he loves to find out when the trash is picked up in that neighborhood. He says that one man's trash is another man's treasure, right? So in his case, when he goes out there on trash day and there's no trash can out front, guess what? That house might be vacant. So that's what he looks for, and that's his treasure. They also do things like they look at the tags on the power meters, and if it's got a blue tag, it means that it's in service. If it has a red tag, it means it's been disconnected. If it's got a green tag, it might mean that the owner asked for it to be temporarily turned off. Now, these are all different in different states and different communities with the different power companies. But those little tricks of looking for the power tags, looking for the trash being out, those are the ways that these guys tell whether a property is vacant or not. Because we're getting our information essentially, for the most part, from the United States Postal Service. And so because of that, you know, there's some that have recently been rented, some that have been recently inhabited. There just hasn't been a document filed. But this is a way that they can do it in the real world to see if the house is really vacant or not. Gotcha.
And I know whenever our whole team recently, everyone on the team here, Connected Investors, from the web developer to to Marty himself, we all had a task to go out and find some vacant properties this week using PIN. I said, hey, I want everyone to find a vacant house with 50% equity in and around your neighborhood. Everyone was able to do it because of PIN. But they came back with some stuff. They said, Ross, I saw a car in the driveway. Well, guess what, Marty? Sometimes who owns that car?
Sometimes it's the next door neighbor because they know they can. Or, one of the ones that I saw in my neighborhood, somebody parked a boat in the driveway. Really not supposed to do that in my neighborhood, but I guess they figured the other guy would get in trouble. So, yeah, that's one of the tricks they use.
So Pinpoint is like pointing you in the right direction. And then as you're out there, whether it's you or someone on your team, when you're sending texts and phone, there's really no harm. But if there's a property right in your area, I mean, there's this one neighborhood right here, there's 13 properties. These are vacant properties with high equity and out-of-state owners. That's one of the searches I did here. So it's doing a little milk run in and around this area could be a darn good use of your time. Jerry, are there any tricks that you use, or do you just send out your blasts and wait for people to call you?
That's interesting. You just said that. I was kind of debating whether I was going to share this, but I don't like holding back. I think everybody should be very successful at this. What I tend to do with this data is if I kind of want to do like a mass mailing and calling and stuff like that, I will go in and I'll look at the vacants. I'll pull the vacants. I'll go in and pull the probates. I'll go in and pull each category that I can get out of PIN here. I will then compile that And then I will say, okay, how many people are on 3 of these lists or 2 of these lists or more? So when I get that, that tells me, hey, these people have multiple motivations. So then those are the people that I literally will blow up, because they've got multiple reasons for selling. But as far as the vacants and driving, there's a bunch of different ways that we do. I love the milk idea. That is amazing. I've never really thought about it like that. That's a cool little trick. But no matter how much, I mean, you're always putting your eyes on it, and there's always going to be that one deal or 2 deals, that are just hidden little gems in there that, like you said, the blue tag and the red tag, it's just all it takes is one little tag, and there you go.
Exactly. That's definitely great insight there. And a lot of the searching and sorting we have inside PIN allows you to do that. Jerry, I'll give you a kind of little tour there and a lot of cool stuff we have coming up. So what's great about this is we love your feedback. If you are an active investor and you're like Jerry and I, we're interfacing, weekly right now. But at least once a month, where we're sitting down, we're going over this stuff. Marty talks to a lot of our members. So if you get in here and there's some weird search or something that you see and it just doesn't necessarily make sense to you, just know that this is the best data that is humanly possible to get, right? Data has never been this visual before. You've never been able to see all of this information right here. I mean, there's times where you might look at something and say, that's not right. There's no way that property sold for 1.7 million. Guess what? Sometimes people at the county, they fat finger something and they put in something incorrectly, right? So we don't have control over the data. We just make it accessible to you and make it visual to you, to where I think we've probably helped more counties, helped more data providers get their stuff right than anyone else ever has, because we are just watching this stuff all the time. So if you're using this and you're seeing something that's kind of weird or odd, just reach out to us. We are data experts, and we'll let you know why you're seeing what you're seeing in your different locations. So this has been a kind of a great behind the scenes here for you guys really to get set up. Now, I haven't talked at all about your workroom, so I'm just going to touch base on your workroom just a little bit here. When you see properties you like, you can hit this little heart button and you can start saving them. Then you hit this little workroom button right here, hit show me the deals. It'll sort out everything that's in your workroom. And this is a great way for you to go ahead and take notes, to add statuses to properties. So you can just say, hey, sent offer. Great. You can make up your own statuses, save. You and your team can collaborate in here. You can kind of have one color mean one thing, one color mean another thing. And the workroom is something we're constantly working on. But it's a great place to kind of put all your properties. You can go ahead and check them, and you can remove them from your workroom. You can export the selection. After you've exported the properties, you can see all of your exports right here. You can click here to see your workroom, your account. You can go ahead and upgrade and do whatever you need to do here. So we're really excited for those of you who haven't yet been in PIN to start using PIN, and we're most excited for those of you who have it to start, seeing some of the tricks of the trade here. How people like Jerry are able to do deals that in the beginning you made so much money you almost felt like you did something wrong, but at the end of the day you really help some people. So Jerry, I want to thank you so very much for jumping on the line. Do you have any?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. We'll definitely be in touch. And Marty, thanks for providing some insight into the data. Is there anything else, Marty, you might want to let some of the people know who haven't yet activated PIN, what they can expect when they're in it, what the future holds? I don't know. Anything from your perspective, Marty, that I might forget?
I'll tell you what, it's just one of the things I'm most proud of is the fact that we're bringing so much to an interface that makes sense. So much of big data today is all the data's there, but it's in a format you can't make sense of. You have to have a PhD in data sciences or something to understand it. And I think we've done a really good job of making it where the average person can use it, and I'm excited about that. And Ross, I'm also excited about taking this on the go in a mobile flavor, and so that you can actually take your list with you. And I think that's going to be a big motivator for a lot of our members in the future.
Yeah, for any of you who have not yet downloaded the Connected Investors app, go ahead and download that now. We're not done yet because we had a surprise guest who did a huge wholesale deal. Recently quit his job, I believe as an engineer, to get into real estate full time, and has a fantastic routine when it comes to how he uses PIN every day. I'm going to go ahead and play his recording here in a second. I just talked to him right before the call. But here he is. His name is Leonard, and we'll let him tell you how he uses PIN.
I don't think when you were doing the presentation, I don't even think you were finished. I already signed up because I couldn't let go, because when I saw all the data, I was like, this is what I've been looking for. I've been driving for dollars and looking for this data, and everything is right here in front of my computer, and I just signed up immediately. I was so excited, and I just get in. What I was doing was that I would go in, I would filter the leads. Like, I want to get those leads that have those homeowners that have owned their properties for like 10 to 20 years, and they have equity. And then I also filter them to get like the grade A and the grade Bs, and I always leave the C's and the D. Then I always try to get the A's and the B, and then I want to make sure that they are from 10 to 20 years that they have owned the property, and those are the ones that I actually export them to the work environment. And when I export up to 1,000, I will email them. I will call them. I'll do a cold calling, text them, email them, and then finally send a postcard. So I'm gonna do the 3 at once. If I call them, they don't respond. I email, text them, they don't respond. Then I send them a postcard.
Great.
So this deal came in. I was having so many leads that were coming in. I had some ones that I had that are wholesale. I did 10K, 12K, but this one was the highest one that I've had so far.
And your wholesale fee was how much on this one?
Yeah, actually, the wholesale fee was $35,000 during the closing at escrow. The homeowners, because there were 2 of them that inherited a property. So there was this fee, this transfer and recordation fee, and some utilities. It was up to $5,000. So they were complaining of paying. So I'm just like, you know what? Don't worry about it. I'm going to take care of it.
Oh, what a nice guy. What a nice guy. And this was a probate. Just to be clear, this is a probate property. And then you came in here and you did a sort, and you said, hey, I want to know the deals with the highest equity, long-term owners, probate property in your area.
Right.
Exported them. You called, you emailed, you sent them a postcard. And then the deal your most recent deal, and the reason we had you on the line here is because you had almost an $85,000 wholesale fee, and you had to pay some taxes or some fees, but you walked away and did okay.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah, this is all I do every morning. I just get up, sit here, pull up all the data. Yes, that's all I do. I actually quit my job some few months back because I was an IT engineer. I was building virtual servers, Linux servers, and all that stuff. But when I started wholesaling and I started making money more than what I was doing, you guys updated the software, and it's pretty cool because the zombie ones, those ones I actually call them continuous, because I know that those ones are hotcakes.
Hotcakes. So you call the zombie properties hotcakes.
Yes.
I love it. Hey, I just want to thank you for kind of jumping on and sharing your morning with us. We love when someone grabs this data and they actually work it. They see great results. So thanks so much for sharing that info. We're going to be reaching out to you from time to time to keep in touch and see how you're doing.
No problem. Thank you very much for bringing up this software. It's really a killer. It's a game changer. So anybody who is not using this software right now is missing out. the train is going to go and leave the person here.
Hey, thanks so much, Leonard. We'll be in touch. Thanks again.
Thank you very much.
All right, fantastic. Whether you have the full version of PIN or you just have the local version of PIN, I will tell you this. You cannot compete in today's world without this. Real estate investors have the MLS, and real estate investors have PIN. Agents have the MLS, investors have PIN. Because you're getting early access, you're going to be able to run. There's no one really in your way. Maybe a few people in your town, tops. In the future, this will be the standard. So if you're out there doing things the old way and all of a sudden you're getting beat to every deal, you're going to know why. It's because you don't have PIN and there's some newbie in your town who's kicking your butt. So I'm being completely transparent here. This type of data has never been available before, and now that it is, it's going to be a free-for-all on how many deals that the individuals who have this can do. So thank you so very much for attending this training, this Q&A, and kind of meeting Marty, our CTO, and some other members that are using this. We hope you guys enjoy PIN and become lifelong clients of us. We're going to be your data provider for a very long time. Until the next training, I'll see you on the inside. Bye, everyone.